A reading from the book of 1 Samuel. Today is September 19th. Our reading from 1 Samuel is chapter 30. By the time David and his men arrived in Ziklag on the third day, the Amalekites had made a raid into the Negev and against Ziklag. They had stormed Ziklag and burned it down. They had taken the women in it captive, lowborn and highborn alike. They did not kill any, but carried them off and went their way. When David and his men came to the town and found it burned down and their wives and sons and daughters taken captive, David and the troops with him broke into tears until they had no strength left for weeping. David's two wives had been taken captive, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail, wife of Nabal from Carmel. David was in great danger from the troops threatened to stone him, for all the troops were embittered on account of their sons and daughters. But David sought strength in the Lord his God. David said to the priest Abiathar, son of Ahimelech, "Bring the ephod up to me." When Abiathar brought up the ephod to David, David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I pursue those raiders? Will I overtake them?" And he answered him, "Pursue, for you shall overtake, and you shall rescue." So David and the 600 men with him set out, and they came to the Wadi Besor, where a halt was made by those who were to be left behind. David continued the pursuit with 400 men. 200 men had halted, too faint to cross the Wadi Besor. They came upon an Egyptian in the open country and brought him to David. They gave him food to eat and water to drink. He was also given a piece of pressed fig cake and 2 cakes of raisins. He ate and regained his strength, for he had eaten no food and drunk no water for 3 days and 3 nights. Then David asked him, "To whom do you belong and where are you from?" "I am an Egyptian boy," he answered, "the slave of an Amalekite. My master abandoned me when I fell ill 3 days ago. We had raided the Negev of the Cherethites and the Negev of Judah and the Negev of Caleb. We also burned down Ziklag." And David said to him, "Can you lead me down to that band?" He replied, "Swear to me by God that you will not kill me or deliver me into my master's hands, and I will lead you down to that band." So he led him down, and there they were, scattered all over the ground, eating and drinking and making merry because of all the vast spoil they had taken from the land of the Philistines and from the land of Judah. David attacked them from before dawn until the evening of the next day. None of them escaped, except 400 young men who mounted camels and got away. David rescued everything the Amalekites had taken. David also rescued his 2 wives. Nothing of theirs was missing, young or old, sons or daughters, spoil, or anything else that had been carried off. David recovered everything. David took all the flocks and herds, which the troops drove ahead of the other livestock, and they declared, "This is David's spoil." When David reached the 200 men who were too faint to follow, David and all who had been left at the Wadi Besor, they came out to welcome David and the troops with him. David came forward with the troops and greeted them. But all the mean and churlish fellows among the men who had accompanied David spoke up. "Since they did not accompany us, we will not give them any of the spoil that we seized, except that each may take his wife and children and go." David, however, spoke up, "You must not do that, my brothers, in view of what the Lord has granted us, guarding us and delivering into our hands the band that attacked us. How could anyone agree with you in this matter? The share of those who remain with the baggage shall be the same as the share of those who go down to battle. They shall share alike." So from that day on it was made a fixed rule for Israel, continuing to the present day. When David reached Ziklag, he sent some of the spoil to the elders of Judah and to his friends, saying, "This is a present for you from our spoil of the enemy of the Lord." He sent the spoil to the elders in Bethel, Ramoth Negeb, and Jatir, in Aror, Siphmoth, and Eshtemoa, in Rakal, in the towns of Jerahamelite, and in the towns of the Kenites, in Hormah, Borashan, and Apthach, and to those in Hebron, all the places where David and his men had roamed.